Listening to the Unmade podcast is so simple. Listen on your smart speaker. Hey Siri. Just say, listen to the Unmade podcast. It's that simple. Listen to the Unmade podcast. Catch us on the website unmade.fm and click the little play button in the embedded player. Watch our episodes on YouTube at youtube.com/unmade podcast. Get the little @ symbol or it won't work. Or you can go to youtube.com/channel/UCKLRMZDOKKKS D14YPMLMXG. Then click the subscribe button. That doesn't mean you're properly subscribed. Then you've got to click the little bell button that pops up and select all so you'll get notifications. Follow us on Twitter, which is
now called X.
And we're in a weird place where Twitter and X both seem equally used.
We're Unmade_FM
there. Not Unmade Podcast like we are on YouTube.
Don't forget the underscore, and it's an underscore, not a hyphen.
Then click the follow button. X. It's that simple. You can join us on Facebook. There we're Unmade FM, all one word, without the hyphen or underscore. There should be a little thumb button to like the page. Follow on Patreon, where you also get the request room. The address there is patreon.com/unmadefm. Again, nothing between the E and the F this time. And that's Patreon, not Patron.
It's that simple.
Search for us on
Apple Podcasts.
There should be a little plus button near the top to follow. We're also on Spotify. I don't actually have that one, but I think it's a follow button.
And you're going to need to have a login. Check us out on Overcast.
There's also a follow button, but then there's like some kind of sub-menu where you can follow new episodes, and then there's like another slider to pin us to the top of your podcast list.
I'll just fiddle around, you'll figure it out. We're on Pocket Casts, I think. Not really sure how that one works.
A lot of other podcast players, I think you can paste the RSS feed for the podcast. That's https://www.unmadefm. Actually, no, that's unmade.fm/ episodes ?format $RSS.
Listening is just that simple.
So for today's episode, everyone, Tim and I are each going to do an idea in the great tradition of the Unmade podcast. Sometimes more honoured in the breach than the observance, but we're each got an idea for a podcast, and then we're going to go into a special phase where we talk about the Tim Hine and Brady Haran medals, which has really come to a bit of a crescendo, and we can't wait to share a bit about that with you all. And we're going to even be awarding some.
Very significant occasion.
Huge.
Yeah.
Huge.
What happens with the Nobel Prize? Do they just post them like on Twitter or something, or is there like a...
No, they have a special a press conference in Sweden in this special posh room, and they come out and they announce it like at a table to the world's press who the winners are, and then they've usually got one or two of them on the phone. So they'll then say, and we're speaking to them now on the phone, and they've usually found out like half an hour to an hour before, if that.
Oh, wow. Yeah. And there's no nominations, are there? It's not like they read out 5 names and then the winner.
No, they don't. No, they just straight to the winner.
Nice. Well, that's how we'll do it too. Well, hang on. Have you got nominations, or you're just going to go straight to the winner?
No, I'll be going straight to a winner. Anyway, enough spoilers.
All right.
We'll come to that. There's lots to talk about there. Lots. But let's just do ideas for a podcast first. Just meat and potatoes, Unmade podcast. Should I? I've had a bit of a wacky idea.
Right.
But I'm thinking of executing it as well. So I'll be curious to hear what you think.
Making the idea. So this is like a workshop, this kind of conversation then, really. We're going to workshop your idea into reality.
Maybe, if you think I'm workshopable and don't just want to do my own thing. Yeah.
Well, I hope I get to name it. All right, go ahead.
Well, I've got a name for it already. It's called the Glacial Podcast, or Glacial Podcast. Glacial as in glacially slow, very slow.
Right.
And the idea for this podcast is it's a weekly podcast, and it really, really strings out the suspense, because what I do with this podcast is I release just one word a week.
That's awesome. I love it. I love these meta ideas.
So if you want to find out what's going to happen next and what it's about and what's going on and what I have to say, you got to be in for the long haul, because each week I publish a new word.
Brilliant. Is there going to be bonus content for Patreon supporters and stuff?
Well, the thing I thought would be good is if every episode had like a big intro, like an introduction saying, "This is the Glacial Podcast. Here's today's episode." You do sponsors and all sorts.
Yeah.
And then you just cut to the word, and then you have an outro. Next week, we'll have another word. So you could build all this hype around it and the shrubbery of podcasts. But the actual meat of the podcast is just one word a week.
Genius. Brilliant idea. I love it. Absolutely love it. Yeah. And you're not going to give any hints about what the sentence is or what the topic is, or even...
Well, yeah, I think maybe that could be part of it. And I have got some ideas in that regard as well, but I don't want to talk about them here, because I hope that I'm going to make this Glacial Podcast and just put it somewhere. Maybe not on podcasts, like on proper podcast feeds, because that might be too much work and there's a bit of hassle there, but maybe. But there are ways I can do it. But I want to do the Glacial Podcast and release it and have people come by. Maybe just, Monday morning. Oh, I wonder what the word is this week. Ooh, I think I know where he's going now.
That's great. That would be interesting to know whether people listen for it and keep it to themselves, or whether it's immediately shared on Twitter or in Reddit, like, this is the word. I'd like to think there was a bit of a culture of not telling. Yeah,
it's a bit like Wordle, when everyone's like keeps secret what that day's word is, so they don't ruin Wordle for everyone else.
Yeah. Great idea.
Here's the question. Do I, pretend the first sentence was, "Hello, Tim, how are you?" Right? Do I release episode 1 and it says, "Hello," and episode 2 is just me saying Tim? Or is episode 2, "Hello, Tim"? So you don't have to, you do all the words so far? Or do you have to listen to each episode individually to get the words? I think individually.
Oh, right. So it builds up and builds up. Yeah, otherwise you could just jump to the latest episode and they'll say, look, you'll get it all. But no, you want to make people glacially move through all of them.
Yeah, and they have to have gone through it all and kept a list. And also, I just had an idea that didn't occur to me that would be quite cool. And I'm not going to say whether I'm going to do this or not, but it would be a really good twist if the Glacial Podcast actually has 2 hosts, but no one realises until about 4 years in, because that's when the second host talks for the first time. What do you think, Tim? Well, Brady, it's interesting you say that.
Oh, that's
like,
great.
oh my God, there's a second person in the room.
There's a co-host. Oh, that's fantastic. Oh, I love it. I really love it. Oh, golly.
Because you're only going to get 52 words a year. I mean, that's just a sentence or two, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. But a lot of people, they overestimate how much they can do in 1 year and underestimate how much they can achieve in 10 years. And I think this is an idea, man. Over 10 years, you may get, a regular podcast's worth of content. A short one, a very short one, but nice.
Watch out for that one, people.
I like the idea that maybe the patron, extra bonus content could be a footnote. But that comes out, extremely slowly as well. It's just like a little, asterisk. And then it's like, when I say, Tim, I hear.
Why on earth would one become a Patreon supporter of this podcast? It's, unless you did something really elaborate like that. Yeah. The story behind the story. What went into the making of this episode? Well, I wrote a word and said it.
I love it. I really love it.
And I wonder if it would become like some of those TV shows like Lost, where people think the creators kind of, lost the plot a bit and didn't really know where they were going with it. And people would be like, does Brady know where this podcast is going? Or is he just making it up as he goes? And there would be like theories and fan theories and conspiracy theories about where it's going and what's going to happen next. Oh, I don't know. I think I know what next week's word's going to be. Or, next week's word must be this, otherwise the sentence won't make sense and things like that.
Well, how do you know when the sentence is finished? Are you not going to denote when punctuation occurs, are you? So...
And you could do twists, like you could have my name is, and everyone's thinking, well, next week we know what the word's going to be. It's going to be the name of the presenter. But it could be something I am not going to tell you, or so you could sometimes throw them a curveball where they think they know what's coming next. And
I do think this needs tension. Like, it needs to be in its own way. Apart from you get past the novelty, right? A few words in.
Yep.
It needs to be a damn good sentence. Like, it needs, how there's a real tight pith, in haiku or those very mini short stories that do something. There needs to be a way in which you genuinely hook people. How can you work with that?
Interesting and worthy of much more thought.
Wow. Let's just glacially consider it quietly for a while.
Oh, well, you've liked that idea more than I thought, so you've increased my enthusiasm for it.
I do, yeah. I think it's a shame we've talked about it. I think you should have just done it. I think that's great. But
well, I'm going to do it. My plan is to have it in place before this episode's released.
Oh, right. Okay. So what you're saying is it now exists. It is made.
Hopefully, if I've got my act together. It doesn't exist right now for you and me, but I'm hoping it will exist for the listeners. Yeah, they can go and listen to the first... They can even go and listen to the first word.
I mean, I think you could double down. I think you could release one episode per year.
Yeah, that did occur to me. And you could do like one per day. You could go the other way. But I think once a week is good. You could have special bonus weeks where you release 2 words.
Oh.
And like, would the podcast go on hiatus over like Christmas? Like, we're not going to have a word for the next few weeks, but we'll be back in January with another word.
I'm sorry about the break in between episodes. It's been a very busy time.
Who would sponsor this podcast? Do you think you could get sponsors?
There could be a cause-based sponsor, something that's drawing attention to the, the melting of the ice pack or something like that. That there's sort of another subtext to it.
I like your thinking. Yeah, there's a few things spring to mind there. That's a good idea. Yeah.
Wow.
All right.
Brilliant. Good
right.
stuff.
Thank you. All right. I'll get to work on that. Do you have an idea for a podcast, Tim?
Yeah. Well, I do actually. I was at the supermarket the other day, and I know you'll be shocked by this, but I bumped into someone that I know.
No.
And yes. Actually, having said that, we should check that this is public knowledge, like if he's told his employer before we release this episode.
That's a good point, actually.
Yeah.
Which is
do you want me to text or call him and ask him if it's public knowledge?
Yeah, go on. Yeah, go on. Because we're making a podcast about...
Oh, g'day. It's Tim Hine here. Is there? Oh, I'm very sorry. Bye-bye.
Oh, good.
That's an old number. Let me try this other one here.
Your call has been forwarded to voicemail.
Oh,
the person you're trying...
Who could I try?
Okay, everyone. Tim had a great idea for today's episode, but we've had to embargo it at the very last minute because of some potential confidentiality, privacy issues we're unsure about. So we're going to skip that idea for another episode. We will come back to it. Mm-hmm. But in the meantime, I actually had a second idea, Tim, that you inspired. So it's kind of your idea anyway. So let me tell you about it and we'll see what we think. And this is called, What Do I Judge People By? Because I remember I was talking to you a while back and you were telling me about a meeting you had with someone in their office. And you were like glancing over the books on their bookshelf behind them. And it really coloured your impression of that person, you said. How you felt about them, how you felt about the meeting, how you even felt about the possible business you were looking at doing, all because of the books on the shelves behind them. And it got me thinking, we all have these little prejudices, don't we? These little things that we will make a little judgment call by. What do I judge people by? So that's one to think about. Could this be a podcast? People come on and talk about those little things in life that if I see that person wearing socks with sandals, that's it. I've made an instant judgment call about them. Things like that.
On the one hand, it feels like it's terrible to admit, right? Because it makes it sound like you're judgmental. On the other side, I think it is a little bit discerning. Like, I remember that exact meeting.
Yeah.
And I remember looking behind at the office. It was a meeting in their office about something prospectively happening. And I remember looking at a couple of books and just knowing, oh, this isn't going to happen. No, this isn't going to work. I can, you know what I mean? Like, I can just, by what they're reading, no, this isn't going to work.
Can you tell me anything about the nature of those books without spoiling anything or without dropping anyone in it? What were the kind of books that were making you think that?
Oh, look, it was a Christian context. They were Christian books, right?
But not your Christian books.
No, they weren't good Christian books.
They were the wrong Christian books.
They were really sort of super spiritual kind of, about, they like elevated, how can I say this? Like, about demons and supernaturally things that not in a credible way. You know what I mean? Like highly speculative kind of stuff. And I was like,
not your thing.
Well, it was more a case of, if you're reading that, then I know where you're coming from, and I can tell that we're gonna miss each other. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this isn't going to work. Now it's terrible because they may have had those books as an example of the kind, here's something that, I wouldn't read, or
I'm debunking.
Yeah, that's right. Or they may have been, it may not have been their office, right? They may have been using someone else's office or something like that. But I could just tell. I was like, oh, hello. Now I'm sure in the academic world that happens a lot, because you can get a sense of who people are and what they're studying and what they're researching by what's on their shelf. And but the classic way to do this is, of course, since post-COVID, every news television show that crosses to some expert, they don't get them into the studio anymore. It's via Zoom, and they're at home and they've got all these books behind them. And so you're looking over their shoulder, and you know that everyone's sort of savvy enough now to put the books there that they kind of want people to know that they've read. And so they're creating an impression. It's kind of like, here's my CV of stuff I've read. And I know, like with politics and things, I'm looking over their shoulder going, okay, that biography, read that. It's interesting that they've put those books there rather than other books. And so they are kind of wanting to be judged a little bit by what's been put as props behind them.
Fair enough. That's a fair call. One of the people I make videos with, Tim, is a astronomy professor called Mike Merrifield. He's actually recently retired, but I filmed in his office hundreds of times. And his bookshelf was behind him. And on his bookshelf, there was a really thick, mighty tome with a really big spine. You couldn't help but see it. It was the most outstanding book on his shelf. And it was a book called The Atlas of Creation. And it was made by a guy who has beliefs in evolution and creation that I would say don't jibe with most scientists.
Right.
Big believer in creation and evolution and that. But created this book with all these photos in it to sort of, I think it was to kind of prove his case and state his case, but it was a beautifully made book and lots of money was put into it. And it was just chock-a-block with fantastic colour photographs. And he sent it to lots of scientists and people around the world to try and make his case. And one copy got sent to Mike. And Mike looked at it and thought, this is just a beautiful book full of great photos. I don't believe what he's saying. It's not, it doesn't, I think it's rubbish, actually. But it's a beautiful book. And he put it on his shelf to keep. He couldn't throw it away.
Yeah.
And then obviously it started appearing in my videos and everyone could pick it out in the background all the time and started writing comments about it. I even said to him, do you want to move it? Because we just get so many comments about it and it's getting a bit distracting. But Mike's a pretty stubborn guy. Mm-hmm. And he was like, I'm not moving. I'm not taking something off my bookshelf because of YouTube commenters. I kept the book. It's there on my shelf. I'm not ashamed of that. So he kept it there. But we had to make a second video about why that book was on his shelf, where he talked about it, said, this is the book, this is what it's about, this is why I've kept it, even though I'm not a creationist. And it got to a point where people pointed out the book all the time. I could then leave a comment saying, "Go and watch this video. Go and watch this video. Go and watch this video," instead of having to type replies and things like that.
Yeah, right.
So people were judging him by that book for sure, to the point where we had to have like a caveat because he was keeping it as a kind of debunking type reason.
There should be a new sort of axiom, which is not just don't judge a book by its cover, but don't judge a person by the cover of the book behind them.
That's right.
It might catch on.
Yeah.
Right down the other end of the kind of judging people spectrum, I remember an episode of Sex and the City where one of the girls, the brunette, I can't remember her name. Charlotte, right, was dating a guy, and then they ended up, just while they were walking around New York, they walked into a department store, and they happened to be in the sort of crockery section, plates and crockery and all that kind of stuff. And he just offhandedly, just said, "No, this looks nice." And it says, Charlotte broke up with him immediately. She could not be with someone who could possibly entertain, that particular pattern of crockery. And it's she made a total massive life decision based on an offhanded comment about a crockery. It's like, no, this isn't going to work.
There are certain fashion items or stylistic choices people might make that I take heed of. I don't know if I'd make life decisions based on it. I will also... There are obvious things like politics. If someone says something, steps on certain landmines of who they voted for or what they believe about things, certain some of the hot topic issues, you can guess what so those issues are, or politicians, it might change my thinking about them. It won't affect, if I'll work with them or if I'll be friends with them, but it does, it colours your thinking, and sometimes for quite a while. Also, moon landing conspiracy theories. If someone finds out about me quite early on that I'm really interested in space and the moon landings, and they're like, oh, that was all faked, I will put them in a certain bucket for a little while, until other things come into play. So yeah.
There is that's the idea of the shibboleth, isn't it? That idea that someone says a word that's code, and it's like, oh, okay, I can see a whole worldview here because you've used that particular word. That's code word or something.
Tell me more about shibboleth. This is the second time. This is a new piece of knowledge to me. You mentioned it to me recently as well, and it made me do a bit of research about it. But flesh that out for me. What's shibboleth? Where does it come from?
Well, my understanding is that it's an Old Testament term, that it's a Hebrew word, which is I don't actually know the origins of it, but and how it's used. I actually don't. I know how it's functionally used today, but I just happen to know it's a word that was used in the Old Testament by the people of Israel, but I don't know.
And if someone said it told you something about them.
Yeah, like if a person uses a particular term, it's a shibboleth. Like if what's a way of saying?
It's like a giveaway.
A giveaway, yeah. If they refer to...
Here's what it says on the dictionary on the internet, mate. A custom, principle, or belief distinguishing a particular class or group of people, especially a long-standing one, regarded as outmoded or no longer important.
Oh, okay. So it's a little bit like I can tell where you're from if you use that word.
We're looking at Judges 12:6. They said unto him, "Say now shibboleth." And he said shibboleth, for he could not frame to pronounce it right. Then they laid hold on him and slew him at the fords of the Jordan. So some guy who couldn't pronounce shibboleth correctly was killed in the Bible because they could have gave something away about him.
Oh, okay. So it's literally the right word. So, okay. So maybe that's the spies coming out of the promised land or something like that.
Right.
And it's like, if you say this correctly with the right accent, it's a bit like a spy, and learning to pronounce something the correct way. And if they don't pronounce it the correct way, that they're faking the accent or something.
Gorlami. I haven't actually watched that film, Inglourious Basterds.
What's that from?
Is it Inglourious Bastards?
Oh, yeah. Where
they've got he gets them to say their names in Italian lots and lots of times. How do you pronounce that?
Yeah, that's right.
Gorlami.
That is Gorlami. That is very funny when Brad Pitt with his rich American accents pretending to be Italian. Yeah, that's great. It's a very violent film, but it has its moments. Yeah.
Anything else you judge people by besides the books on their shelves? Do you judge people by what they wear?
Oh, I think you do size people up and get a sense of them. Yeah. I mean, I don't think when you say judge, you don't mean judge and discount. You go, oh, here we go. Here's a sense of this person.
Yeah.
Particularly because they've people use fashion as to signal things about themselves. It's part of their identity. So that theme. I feel like that means less the older you get, but
And it can be misleading as well. You know, it can throw you off.
Yeah. I think when people, you can see they're trying to impress you or trying to be impressive in what they're wearing, as opposed to someone who's a bit less pretentious. I remember someone saying once, don't let your clothes be louder than your opinions, or be the most fascinating thing about you, or something like that I've always clearly taken on board.
I'm quite a messy and scruffy dresser, I think. And there've been a few times I've gone into shops to make big purchases for one reason or another, you know, with the intent of spending a significant sum on something.
Oh, yeah.
And not being able to get customer service. And I think it's because of how I was dressed. And just walked out in disgust, Pretty Woman style, you know.
Do you go back the next day in like a beautiful frock and say...
Big mistake. Huge.
Oh, dear.
So I think I probably get judged a bit by how I dress.
I seriously, and I mean seriously, used to judge people harshly based on their musical tastes.
What would a bit red flag be if someone said, oh, I'm really into this? What would that be like? Don't know. You're not my cup of tea.
Yeah, well, stuff like, you know, that's just really bland. You know, bands like Creed and Nickelback, or, you know, certain types of kind of horrendous R&B pop music and stuff like that. It doesn't. It was just, oh no, this isn't going to work.
Do you not still feel that way?
Well, I just like to think I'm less superficial as a person, that I'm more interested in the person than their musical tastes.
Right.
And my palette for music is less snobby as well. I'm not so purist in my musical tastes.
Okay.
And I'll come to that a little bit later on I'll come to that in a little bit moment. We'll come back to that.
If people have got things that they judge others by, let us know. Send us, you know, all the usual things, emails, Reddit, social media. Get in touch, let us know, and we might share some of them in an upcoming episode. Let's move on to the Tim Hine and Brady Haran medals. I discussed recently how I think bestowing a medal is a nice thing. I received a medal called the Christopher Zeman Medal, and one of his family members came along to the event, and it made me think this was a really nice thing. It was coming sort of in his memory and stuff like that. It was just a nice event, and it made me think, wouldn't it be nice if we had medals that we could bestow on people that we thought deserved them? We kind of joked around about it at the time, and we hadn't really discussed criteria for it, but we sort of jokingly, we kind of jokingly thought maybe they should go to people who are like us in some way, or had traits in common with us, and we jokingly ended up presenting a fake one to, I think it was Jason Kelsey for me, and I think it was Bob Dylan for Tim. We'll come back to all this soon. But wipe that slate clean, all right? Wipe that slate clean, because what we've done is we've actually had the medals made. I had designs done. They've been struck. If you look in the show notes now or on the video, you can see them for the first time, unless you're a Patreon supporter and then you've seen them before. But if you're a normal listener, you can see these medals. And before we talk about the awarding of them, Tim, how magnificent are these medals?
Oh, incredible. I continue to be amazed that you got these made. They really are quite stunning.
They're like the Brady Haran medal is a side profile of me. The Tim Hine medal is a side profile of Tim. Like in 3D, like in relief. It's very inspired by the Nobel Prize medal. On the other side is an Unmade Podcast logo and a little blank space for names to be engraved of winners. But they come in these lovely leather boxes, faux leather boxes with gold decoration on them. They look posh.
I like the fact that we're looking in the opposite direction. So they're kind of, if you put them side by side, we're kind of looking at each other. That's a pretty significant thing. Because then people
away
in
from
future
each other.
will... Well, that's right. Indeed. People will know in future if there's a fake, you know what I mean? Because it's like, oh, that's a Brady, but it's facing the wrong way. And that's going to be one of those clues that experts in the future will look to.
Yeah.
Like if one of these appears on Antiques Roadshow and they're like, well, hang on, I'm sorry to say, you've overpaid for this because...
My decision to have us facing in opposite directions is inspired by the coins and the stamps in the UK, where they use like the Queen's head on the back of a coin or a stamp. And then when a monarch dies... the next one is flipped So they alternate. That's kind of a tradition.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So
I've heard that before.
that was in my head when I thought you and I should be looking in opposite directions.
The king is dead, long live the king. Is that the idea?
Something like that. I don't know which one of us is dead in this analogy, but...
No. I was born first, though. I'm older than you, so...
So you're dead.
Well, I'm not dead, but I'm, largely redundant.
Well, go and have a look at these medals. We're really proud of them, and we're going to start awarding them when we see fit. These are different to colonelships. I would say these are a level above colonelships. But also, colonelships are well established as kind of service to the podcast.
Yes.
Part of the team. Whereas these medals, I think, are kind of, in my mind, going to be external to the podcast, and they're just awarded to people in the world, in the universe, that we want to recognise and bestow honour upon. And these may well be people who've never heard of the podcast. In fact, there's a pretty strong chance they've never heard of the podcast, but we want to bestow honour upon them, and this is our way of doing it, by awarding them one of these magnificent golden medals.
How's this going to work? I mean, they're going to hear about it when we announce them in just a few moments, and this episode goes out. And then, have you arranged postal delivery, or are there security guards or some sort of security company that are turning up to take the medals to them? How's this going to work? Is this going to be one of those situations where someone, we have to, pay for a seat on a plane for the security guard and then pay for the seat next to them for the medal where it sits?
In business class.
In business class? Or is that going to be that's the decoy, and then it turns out there was someone at the back of the plane that just slipped it into their pocket, and that was you know what I mean? Like this special thing so that people might...
I'm actually thinking of buying tickets on multiple planes. So people don't even know what country it's flying to. So we'll have 7 or 8 business class seats on various planes, and people don't know which one's got the actual medal. So...
Right.
Yeah.
Or it might get there and then just, get a return flight home, and people are like, whoa, what?
Just going on a holiday. The medal just wanted to see the world. Yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
So I cannot tell you how beautiful and impressive these medals are. These are a great thing to win. Now, just to be a bit meta for a moment, I do hope that this is going to be fun. We're going to award a lot of them with a spirit of fun. Maybe engage the people who've won if they're engageable. Maybe not. I don't know exactly what direction it's going to go in, and we're happy to be guided. But unlike when we joked about it X number of episodes ago and said, they go to people who are like us in some way, I think we have to scrap that. This is just Tim and I bestowing honour upon people we think deserve it, and it's within our gift. So it's within my gift to bestow a Brady Haran medal, and it's within Tim's gift to bestow a Tim Hine medal.
Indeed. Yeah, the last thing someone wants is to receive the Tim Hine medal, having lived their whole life of people saying, oh, you're so much like Tim Hine. And then just, you know what I mean? They're getting over it, getting past it, trying to create their own life and identity, and suddenly a medal turns up in the mail.
No.
Tim Hine medal.
None of
it's
that.
just that's going to feel like an insult, isn't it?
I'm ready to award the first Brady Haran medal. And by the way, it's not just medals I've had created, Tim. I've had a special fanfare created by the maestro, Alan Stewart, who creates most of my music and does most of the sound effects and jingles for the Unmade podcast. The maestro, Alan Stewart, has created a fanfare. So you will hear the fanfare played every time a name is officially announced as a winner. So that's something extra special.
All right. Well, I think you should go first. I think you've put quite a lot of effort into this, and I think you've no doubt given this very careful consideration and a lot of thought. Who is the inaugural winner of the Brady Haran medal?
Well, Tim, I did say I want these to be quite fun and jokey and have a sense of fun about them, as well as some honour to them. But my first medal, the inaugural Brady Haran medal, is going to be serious. It's going to be from the heart.
Right.
Something I mean, okay? It's not going to be jokey. But don't think they're always going to be like this. But my first one I want to be from the heart. That's not to pressure Tim into doing likewise. In fact, I specifically told Tim I don't want him to do likewise, because I don't want these to all be, too serious. So Tim hopefully will not go in this direction, but I kind of have. Because Tim, in my life, for some reason, I've ended up falling into a career and a path that lends itself to occasionally getting medals and awards and things.
I've noticed.
Yeah, I know. And I was reflecting on this, like, well, how come this happens to me a little bit? Not a crazy amount, but it does happen to me sometimes that I'll win medals and awards. And I think it's a combination of factors. One of the biggest ones is a lot of my work overlaps with academia and universities and things. And academia and universities have quite a structure in place to give awards, and they like honours and things like that. So I've kind of fallen into that world a little bit.
Yeah.
So that's one of the reasons. I also have like quite a solitary job where I'm at the forefront, so I probably get a bit more recognition than I really deserve as like a sort of a solo operator, not part of a big collective. And I think that kind of individualism sometimes lends itself to recognition that's probably not deserved but happens. So for whatever reason, I receive medals and awards from time to time. Lucky me. Now, unlucky for my wife, because she has to come to some of these ceremonies sometimes, and she's always so happy for me and really supportive. This is my wife, Kylie. But she has had a life where she doesn't get medals and awards. In fact, she often tells me about how she's never ever won any kind of medal, which amazes me in a way. But that's because when she was younger, she wasn't competitive and she wasn't really into sport. And I think a lot of us cut our teeth of getting medals and prizes playing junior sport, don't we? That's always where we win our first medals. She never had any of that. And through her career, she hasn't won medals and awards despite being a really high achiever. So the inaugural winner of the Brady Haran medal is... Kylie Pentelow.
Oh, man. Whoa. Wow.
Can I read you the citation? Kylie Pentelow is my wife. I'm going to read you the citation. Here we go. The inaugural winner of the Brady Haran medal is Kylie Pentelow. Kylie is, of course, my wife. She's an extraordinary mother to our son, Edward. How she balances all she does for our family and her career is mind-boggling. But this medal is awarded solely for her professional success and qualities. Kylie has risen to the lofty heights of live presenting in the BBC's most important and highest profile studios. But unlike many who have done so from a life of privilege, she's done so from a humble background, the first member of her family to even attend university. From the Bath Chronicle to the BBC to ITV and back to the BBC, Kylie has fronted national and international TV news programs and become a familiar face on our screens. In more recent times, she's become a friendly, trusted voice on flagship radio programs. Obviously, Kylie is blessed with some qualities that make for a great presenter. A quick and inquiring mind, calmness under pressure, a broadcast quality voice, and a beautiful face. But there are other qualities that set her apart from many in the cutthroat and energy-sapping media world. She is brave, willing to throw herself into unfamiliar and challenging environments, and doing so live in front of millions of people. She is not fearless. Kylie gets nervous, but that is why she is so brave. She is not one to take refuge in a comfort zone. Kylie's also determined, always pursuing new ideas and opportunities, striving for what's next. Sometimes, like everyone, she has to take no for an answer, but rather than walk away or wallow in self-pity, Kylie simply dusts herself off and asks the next question. But most importantly, she is kind. Kylie never wants her success to come at the expense of others. She takes joy in the achievements of her colleagues and helps others at every opportunity, whether it's mentoring junior journalists or praising her peers. Everyone seems to love working with Kylie because she is, for lack of a better word, fundamentally good. For these reasons, Kylie is not only a rare diamond in the media world, she's someone I admire, someone I look up to and wish I could emulate. There's no one who deserves a medal more than Kylie. I'm just sorry, this one has my face on it.
Wow. That, I don't know, I mean, in an unbelievable coincidence, the Tim Hine medal was also heading to Kylie Pentelow. No,
she can have two. Two in a day.
I think you will do better having been the bestower of this medal. Well, that is actually a surprise. There we go.
Let me show you. Hang on, let me show you. I've been to the engravers already. I don't know how well you'll see it on the camera, but I'll try.
There you go. Wow, you're not joking. Incredible.
Her name is engraved on the first Brady Haran medal, along with the year in Roman numerals, just to make it look more posh.
Does she know? Does she know yet? Or it's been announced here for the first time?
No, she does not know.
How are you going to tell her? Are you going to play this episode for her?
Would you like me to?
I think that's probably the way to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can't just randomly walk up to her and hand her a medal. Like, that's not going to work.
No. All right. I will. If she's agreeable, I'll play the episode to her and I'll see if I can sneakily film myself doing it.
Wow. Look, I don't want to say it's not earned, but I want to say that's one of the biggest suck-ups in modern history.
Seriously though, I cannot believe she has never won any kind of medal or trophy or anything, and it makes me feel guilty because I feel a little bit undeserving of recognition sometimes, and she does deserve it. So,
that's beyond doubt. You're clearly undeserving, and she's clearly magnificent. You just have to listen to her talk. I just want to give her a medal. She sounds fantastic. Yeah.
All right.
Wow.
All right.
Well,
there we go.
There you go.
I promise the next one will be more fun and less
Goodness me.
worthy.
Well, you had to pay some bills there, man. I understand, and you got that out the way. So,
All right. What are you doing for your wife?
well, I'm just scratching out the engraving here as we speak.
What are you doing about the first Tim Hine medal?
You've clearly taken an enormous benefit out of your medal, whereas mine's really for the fans.
Right.
So I'd like to dedicate my medal to all the Unmade podcast listeners out there.
Everyone. Well, that's going to be a big engraving job. Is that like when Time magazine made everyone in the world Person of the Year?
That's right.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah. Who was it? Was it Steve Martin that got up to win an award? He said, "I'd like to thank anyone who has ever lived. I hope I'm not leaving anyone out."
Yeah. No, what are you really going to do, Tim? Are you going to go give yours to a homeless person?
Well, I'm going to be the homeless person once we find out that you gave yours to your wife and I didn't.
I'm going to give my next one to your wife.
That's the most undermining thing you could give. Imagine if you'd done that. Oh dear. Oh, classic. Oh, look. Well, that's. I mean, that is huge. Let's just let the dust settle on that for a little while. That'll clearly go viral. Massive news, and well deserved. I would say well deserved. Moving now to the main event. The Tim Hine medal.
The one everyone wants.
That's right. I look. I'm going to award mine to someone I'm not sleeping with, and I'm look. As you know, I originally decided that I was going to give it to Bob Dylan, and the reason I chose Bob Dylan is not because he's the greatest songwriter of all time, absolute probably the greatest solo artist of all time, but because he's very similar to me. That is, he's funny looking with a not very strong voice, who has written songs, who believes in God and is going a bit grey. And so I've been sitting with that because actually putting aside his similarities to myself, he's a pretty worthy winner. And I have had whole years of my life when I've listened to nothing else but Bob Dylan and read all these books. I became really quite obsessed.
All right.
But then I think, well, actually, he's not my favourite artist. If I was to move into that genre, then I think I'd probably go with, of course, Nick Cave. He's sort of in the same genre. He means a hell of a lot to me. But I've met Nick Cave and I gave him a copy of my book and he signed some lyrics for me. So I feel like I've sort of paid my dues there of honouring him. And then I was thinking about, maybe I don't want to go with the biggest and the best, but who else have we honoured? Who's been part of our lore and who's been someone who, against every possible reason, has somehow got under my guard, and despite appearances, despite genres, despite cool factor, despite credibility, despite having never written a song, despite his hair, has somehow managed to get into my playlist. And so I'm now today willing to announce that the inaugural winner of the Tim Hine medal is... Michael Bolton.
Michael Bolton.
Yep.
Who would have thought? Pipping Bob Dylan.
Yep. Just maybe for the first time ever.
Yeah.
And maybe for the last time ever.
Yeah.
Michael Bolton. I can't get past him.
I mean, before we come to Michael Bolton, Bob Dylan may yet win one day, but he'll never be the inaugural winner. That will always be Michael Bolton.
I hereby swear Bob Dylan will never win, while I'm alive, the Tim Hine medal.
Wow.
He's been thoroughly considered. He was nominated in my mind, and I sat with it for a long time. He was even the dummy run. I mean, he is, as I said before, he has huge amounts of things going for him. He's funny looking, not a very strong voice, good songwriter, believes in God, going a bit grey, bit like myself. However, he's no Michael Bolton.
The medal's going to Michael Bolton.
I could hardly believe it when I heard the news today.
Tell me a bit about Michael Bolton. Just tell me write me a love letter.
Oh, look, I don't know much about Michael Bolton. He's
He's a Tim Hine medalist.
Look, well, that's right. He's a Tim Hine medalist. Well, that's clearly going to be the first line in his Wikipedia from now on.
Oh, yeah.
He's got long hair. I know he had a few albums that didn't do very well in the sort of 70s and then 80s. And then he had an album called Soul Provider in 1990 or 89, 90. And that featured a song called How Am I Supposed to Live Without You, which probably hasn't left my ear since then. Like, it's been an earworm that's stuck despite everything.
Would you say that's his signature song?
Yes, I would. Yes, I would. I think that's it. Followed up by How Can We Be Lovers?
Yes.
Which is a very strong second single from the album.
Bit pacier.
Yeah. And he's pretty much done covers since then.
Right.
Like, it's been this is actually one of the reasons I love this. There's two reasons why I sort of landed on this in the end. One was because I like the idea, and it's an idea that's in the Bible too, that the least, shall be first. So he's not the kind of person you would expect to be a Tim Hine medal winner. He's kind of, you know what I mean? He's the
I mean, he's a multi-millionaire and very successful, so I don't know about calling him least, but I guess in the context of Tim Hine medals, you could have thought he was least.
Indeed. It was unexpected. He himself will be shocked, obviously, to receive the medal.
Amazed.
He
won't believe it.
He'll be amazed. Yeah. And so I like that idea of going with the least person, a person with no cool factor really whatsoever. Yep. And yet somehow I listen to...
why do you listen to? Let's talk about why he deserves it, besides the fact he didn't deserve it. That seems to be the case you're making. Tell me a bit more about why he's got it.
I don't know. I just sing the song all the time. Yeah. I sometimes wake up in the middle of the night and I just put it on and I go to sleep and the song comes up and I sing it, and every now and then I go and listen. I don't respect it. I don't appreciate. Well, I do appreciate it, clearly. I don't know why. I just sing the song all the time, and I really don't have many reasons beyond that, except for the other day I was walking down the road and I was with a friend of mine, Jared, who looks a little bit like Michael Bolton, right? He's got a similar jaw structure, good-looking rooster. But as we're walking along, talking about something serious, a guy walked past with unmistakable Michael Bolton hair, and we both instinctively turned around to peer back at him just to go, and just went, wow. Yeah. But you don't see that very often anymore. Because Michael Bolton, I mean, he's shorn his locks now, but he did look pretty amazing. Yeah. He also, if people want to know a little bit more, he also does a version of a classic song called A Love So Beautiful. Again, it's not a very substantial song, but there's something about it. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Because
I'm obviously going to send Michael Bolton the medal with his name engraved on it, and I have to include a letter.
Yeah.
I'm still not exactly sure what I'm going to put in the letter to help him understand why he's won this. Like, can you give me a few phrases or lines that I can put in the letter?
Oh, maybe you could take something out of your letter to Kylie, I guess. There's a few phrases there that I thought were pretty good. Maybe you could romp it up a little bit.
Can I use formative in any way? Formative years or impression?
No, he wasn't. He didn't do a lot of good work in his formative years.
No, but he was part of your formative years as a music aficionado.
Well, that's right. I think the first time I started listening to him was around 1989, 1990. He was a big hit with the girls at our school.
Yeah.
Not so much the guys, but with the girls at our school.
Yeah.
And I remember him being played a little bit in our Year 12 room, where we had sort of a hangout area and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Wasn't much into myself at the time, but I thought, yeah, this is nice. There's Michael Bolton again.
Yeah.
I actually grew to dislike him. Maybe that's the attraction. I grew to dislike him as an artist because in some ways, how we were talking earlier about like judging people and being snobbish and stuff. He's down the bottom of the list. He has no credibility with me from an artistic point of view. Everything that makes Bob Dylan great in my mind, Michael Bolton doesn't have.
Has he got anything back? Has he got any credibility back?
He has done like a comedy thing recently, which I think was pretty funny. He did like a Jack Sparrow song that was like rumor got out that he had a bit of a sense of humor, and that was a lot of fun where he was playing on his image as being a sultry kind of, middle-aged ladies man sort of singer. And that is pretty funny, I think.
Yeah.
But
all right.
But that didn't do much for me. And so there's something about the fact that there's nothing much about him that compels me or that I hold in high esteem, except, I'm sure he's probably a lovely guy, but for some reason I listen to him and I think that is a hell of an effort from him.
You know what? It's a credit to his voice. It's probably a credit to his voice because he didn't write the song. He just sung it. He's obviously got a voice that transcends cultures and prejudices and fashions. It's just pure. It just speaks to your soul.
I don't wanna know the price I'm gonna pay for dreaming.
I don't know how his career's going at the moment, but clearly this will give it a second wind, won't it? Maybe a third wind. This will be massive for him. I'm aware of that.
The medal, it'll be his Pulp Fiction. It'll revive his career like John Travolta.
John
and
Travolta.
Stuff.
Yeah. It's one of those things. Look, I despite everything, I listen to him. And I'm pretty, as I said before, I didn't mean to say that before in the context of this, but I'm pretty judgmental when it comes to the music side. And I have to say, he's got in there. He's managed to get in there. So congratulations, Michael Bolton, the inaugural winner, the Tim Hine medal.
All right, Michael Bolton or Michael Bolton's management or record company or whoever I'm going to send the medal to, keep an eye on the post. There is a very, very special piece of gold and faux leather coming your way with Tim's beardy face engraved on the front.
Well, do you think, how sometimes they get the dual winners of something together? Like sometimes the Wimbledon men's and the Wimbledon women's champions like dance at a ball or something. Yeah. Or, they get the best actor and best actress to be photographed together.
You want to see Kylie and Michael Bolton have a dance?
Yeah.
Well, I'll see what I can arrange. That would be quite the event.
She might be quite taken with him. All your big sucking up might be for nothing. Might backfire on you. It's like,
wouldn't that be it? Yeah. Well, you said you weren't going to give your medal to someone you sleep with, and then you gave it to Michael Bolton. Michael Bolton, Kylie Pentelo, enjoy your medals. The medals will be back. We've had a few struck. There are more to be presented. I don't know what the time frame will be, if there'll be a routine tour or it'll just be on a whim. We're open to suggestions, of course, but let's see where it goes.
I'll tell you. We how often are we going to do this? They weren't inexpensive, and
no, they weren't. A few more episodes, Tim, and we'll have paid for them. Yeah, I had to get special approval from Tim for us not to be paid for a while to have these medals made.
That's right. We're going to debt.
No request room today because this episode was... I can't tell you why, it's a secret. But there's no request room today. But I will post some form of bonus content on Patreon to go along with this episode, just to keep showing those stakeholders how much we love them.
I've just received another text message, man, confirming that thing that we didn't include earlier. It's good that we didn't do it.
Right.
That is
okay. It is a secret.
It is highly secretive.
Good.
So we'll hold on to that. We'll sit on that for a little while.
We could be holding on to that for a year or two by the sounds of it.
Yeah, it may be. That's right. That's been so...
All right.
Glad we didn't have to walk that one back.
No.
But
Good.
hopefully we can reveal what the situation was when we come to it.